Awesome. Okay, we're gonna start, just come to seated. Any seated position that you want to. You can be on your knees or just sitting comfortably cross-legged. For class tonight, it's going to be all about our hamstrings. We're gonna get into the back of our legs. I feel like the last couple classes I taught have been more shoulder heavy. So we're gonna transition today and really get into our hamstrings. So let's just start by settling in, calming down, relaxing, letting our mind be at ease. Start to breathe deep, slowing your breath down. By slowing our breath down, we signal to our brain that we're in a safe place, that we can rest. The thought I want to share with you today is from an author that I recently came across on Instagram. She is an author about sort of understanding your own emotions and self-care and journaling and prompting those journaling sessions. Gentle reminder, you can be positive, happy, and grateful and still have not so good, awful, or off days. Yes to thinking good thoughts, but also yes to acknowledging and feeling your feelings. You don't have to pretend, and you don't have to be perfect. Her name is Alex L. I'm going to share that with you one more time to let it sink in. Gentle reminder. You can be positive, happy, and grateful, and still have not so good, awful, or off days. Yes to thinking good thoughts, but also yes to acknowledging and feeling your feelings. You don't have to pretend, and you don't have to be perfect. We're going to let that sit for a few more breaths. One more breath in, and a big cleansing exhale. Slowly flutter your eyes open and extend your legs right out in front of you, straight ahead of you on your mat. We're going to start with a really gentle, simple forward fold over those legs because we're getting into those hamstrings. Take it really, really easy at first. You can't touch your toes, it doesn't matter. Not important. That's probably the first thing that I hear from people when they find out that I teach yoga and they're not interested in yoga is I can't touch my toes. And that has nothing to do with it. Keep your chest open and lifted across your collarbones. Take a deep breath in and imagine that you're growing taller from the crown of your head. And as you exhale, gently let your chest sink a little bit heavier. You can have your hands down on the floor, on your shins, reaching towards your feet or ankles. Breath in and breath out. Using each breath to lengthen your spine a little bit, and each exhale to sink your chest a little bit. Last breath in and last breath out. Roll yourself up to seated. And we're going to play with the concept of muscle engagement here. So we're going to work on the backs of our legs today, on our hamstrings. To lengthen one muscle, you contract and engage the opposite muscle. So in this case, the opposite muscle is our quads. So if you're sitting here, just sit nice and tall, stack all your vertebrae one on top of another. Engage your core, keep everything tucked in and working. You can plant your hands on the mat next to you or your fingertips, whatever feels good. And your heels are resting on the floor. Now engage your quads, and what happens? Your heels start to lift up off the floor. Maybe they do lift up off the floor. We're engaging the quad. It's finding length in our hamstrings so much so that our heels lift up off the ground as our hamstrings grow longer. And release your quads. Your heels will drop back down, maybe give them a shake. We're going to do that a couple more times. Big breath in, cleansing exhale, and engage your quads, squeeze your quads, squeeze those thigh muscles. Watch or feel your heels start to lift up off the ground and release. Shake them out. Again, squeeze your quads, hamstrings lengthen, heels lift, flex your feet, press your heels away from your face, your toes reaching towards the ceiling, and release your heels back down. One more time. If your quads start to cramp up, sometimes mine do too, that's fine, I won't tell anybody. Big breath in, big breath out. Squeeze your quads, engage your heels, lift up, press your heels away from you. Pull your toes back towards your face, or maybe even just spread your toes out. Spreading out your toes just activates your foot, keeps it active and engaged, and release, lower back down, shake it out. Plant your hands down on the ground in front of you with your fingertips behind you, working back behind you. Bring your heels in, plant your feet on the ground. Press through, lift your hips up. This is a variation of reverse tabletop. Usually our reverse tabletop has our fingers pointing toward our bum. This time they're pointing back. Lower your butt back to the ground. This time, keep your right hand planted. Lift your left hand up and over. Baby gaze down at your right fingertips. Squeezing your quads, squeezing your glutes. This is that opposite muscle engagement. And lower your butt back down. Switch hands. Left hand goes behind you. Right arm sweeps up and over. Lift your hips. Squeeze your quads. Squeeze your butt. Gaze down at your left hand. And exhale, lower back down. We're going to do that again, but moving fluidly from side to side. So right hand plants. Lift up, gaze. And exhale, butt comes down. Left hand plants. Lift your hips. Right arm goes up. And exhale down. Right hand plants. Gaze at your hand, left arm reaches up and over. Exhale down. Left hand plants, right arm up. One more on each side. Right hand plants. Lift your butt. And exhale down. Last one, left hand plants. Right arm sweeps up. And lower back down. Plant your hands alongside your body. Make sure that they're far enough apart that your hips can fit through them. Send your feet out just a little bit further. We generally need a little more space. We're going to swing our hips through our hands. So step your feet out a little further. This time fingers are pointing towards your heels. Press your hips high. Reverse tabletop again. This time exhale, swing your hips through, straighten your legs. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, your hips come through and straighten and come back up. You can have hands on blocks if you have blocks handy and you need a little more space to make this happen. You can also, when your butt hits the ground, let it hit the ground and squeeze those quads, lift your heels like we practiced at the beginning of class to make it happen. And then replant, move into reverse tabletop. So if you can't quite get the length in your arms to squeeze those hips through, that's okay. And one more time, lift your hips high. Drop your butt down in between your hands, straighten out those legs, and lower down. Cross over at the ankles, come into a tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. My favorite part of class. Moving through cat-cow. We'll start with cow. Drop your belly, lift your tailbone. Draw your shoulder blades together and down your back. Crown of your head goes up, cow. And exhale, cat. Round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. like they're magnetized toward each other. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And cat. Move through a few of these on your own breath, but this time add whatever motion that you need to, side to side, or twisting, or pausing in any given space. Take this opportunity to check in with your body and see how things feel. Come to a neutral tabletop position. Pick up your right foot, step it outside of your right hand. So right foot to your right pinky. Shift back and forth a little bit. Shift all the way forward so your knee starts to stretch over those toes. Now press all the way back so much so that your butt starts to land towards your heel. See if you can straighten out that right leg. Only straighten it out to the degree that you can. And set your right knee back down, switch to the other side. Left knee steps outside, left pinky. Shift forward and back. Let your hips really sink all the way back to your heel. Come back to a neutral tabletop. We're going to do a quick variation of half splits, not because we'll have that much success early in class, but just to see how things feel. For this first variation, keep your hip over your knee, tuck your back toe, your right foot's extended right out in front of you, your heel pressing into the ground, toes are flexed, just to see how it feels. Just to see how far you can take it. And we'll try and fit this in at the end of class, just like we did at the beginning. As you breathe in, you lengthen. And as you breathe out, you fold over that leg a little deeper. Breath in and breath out. Untuck your back toe, slide that right knee back and switch sides. Left foot lands forward. Keep your right hip stacked over your knee. Tuck your back toe. And breathe as you fold into that front leg. One more breath in, and one more breath out. Send that left knee back to your tabletop position. Tuck your toes and lift your hips high all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. First downward dog of class today. So pedal your feet out. Step them in a little bit. See how that feels. Step them out a little bit. See how that feels. Which variation you need tonight, where your stance lands. I'm a big believer you should always do what feels best in your body, which sometimes means that downward dog is the tiniest bit different from day to day, depending on how you're feeling. Breath in and breath out. One last inhale. Walk your hands back to your toes. Keep your legs straight if you can, till you land in a forward fold at the back of your mat. Clasp opposite elbows, sway from side to side. Maybe interlace your fingers at the nape of your neck. Let your head fall a little heavier. Drop your hands down to the ground. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Engage your quads, even standing here. Start to lift your kneecaps. Breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, bow or swan dive all the way down, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, walk your hands forward to high plank. Pause here, breath in. And as you breathe out, walk your hands right back. Send your hips right up, all the way to the back of your mat, forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, roll up. Arms float up, gaze goes up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, everything goes up. Exhale, bow forward. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, little change here. Keep this halfway lift. So your core is engaged, your shoulder blades are pulling together. All you're gonna do, so keep the upper body in this halfway lift. Your lower body is gonna come down to a little squat on your toes. Even keep your fingers planted if your fingers are on the mat, if your hands are on the mat. And inhale, send your hips right back up, heels go down, back to your halfway lift. Plant your hands, walk forward to your high plank. Hold it here. Adding that little squat just gives your hamstrings a chance to relax and then re-lengthen as your heels drop back down and you re-extend. Take a breath in here, high plank. Breath out, walk to the mat, back of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll up. Arms up, exhale, hands to heart. One more just like that. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. Breathe out, come to your toes, drop your butt to your heels. Inhale, back to your halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands forward, high plank. Breath in, breath out, walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, different this time. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, drop your butt to your heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands forward, high plank. Breathe in. Breathe out, right foot, right pinky. Inhale, reach your arms, right arm up, low twist. Exhale, right hand plants back down, right foot steps back to high plank. Breathe in. Breathe out, left foot, left pinky. Inhale, left arm up, low twist. Exhale, left hand plants. Step your left foot back, high plank. Breathe in. Breathe out, downward facing dog. And we'll stay here for just a breath or two. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, look up to your hands. Exhale, walk or step all the way up to your hands this time. Breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, roll up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. Lift your kneecaps, engage your quads. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out. Plant your hands, step back to your high plank or jump back to chaturanga. Lower down halfway to chaturanga or all the way to your belly. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, look to your hands. Breathe out, walk all the way up to your hands. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, roll all the way up. Arms float up. Exhale, hands to heart. Two more sun salutations, just like that, old school, regular style. Breathe in, up. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. Breathe out, plant hands, step back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, you choose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, walk, step, float up to meet their hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Roll up as you inhale. Arms float up. Exhale, hands to heart. Last one. This time I'm not going to say anything. You make your way through your own sun salutation your favorite way. We'll all meet standing at the top of our mat. Take a pause in downward dog for a good 3 breaths. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Pause here, standing in Tadasana at the top of your mat for a few breaths. You can have hands at heart center or alongside your body, palms facing forward. Again here, lift your kneecaps, activating your quads. One more breath in. One more breath out. Our sequence today, our flow, starts with the sun salutation, so we'll get right into it. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, plant your hands, step back, lower down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breath in. As you breathe out, lower your knees almost to the ground. So you're in this floating tabletop position. I had to walk my hands back just a skosh. My knees are not touching the ground. They're about an inch off the ground. So take a breath in and take a breath out. Keeping your knees bent at this 90-degree angle. Rotate your heels to the left. Lift your right hand up and your right foot kicks out. And exhale, come back to this floating tabletop. Other side. Heels drop to your right, left arm up, right leg kicks out, and drop back down. One more on each side. Heels drop back, right arm up, and back. Opposite side. Right foot kicks out, and you can set that right foot on the ground if you need a little more support. Hold it here. Breath in. Breathe out. Pick up your right foot. Step it to your right pinky. So your knees still floating off the ground ever so slightly, but we're going to rotate over. Straighten out your left leg, so we're in Skandasana over our bent right leg at the front of our mat. Hold here. My hands are at heart center, and I'm using my right elbow to press into that right knee this first time through. We'll explore some other variations as we move through later. Take one more breath in. Breath out. Walk your fingertips over your right knee. Find a low lunge at the top of your mat. Fingertips plant, pressing through the ball of your back foot. Breath in. As you breathe out, explode under that right leg. Bend your left knee, push onto that left knee. Standing splits on your right leg. Left leg is high. We'll move through our sequence this first time, slow and steady. And then pick up the pace our second and maybe third time through. Breath in, breath out. Draw your left knee to your nose. Take your right hand, grab the pinky edge of your left foot. Swing your left foot through. Slowly come to seated with your left leg extended out in front of you at a 45. If your knee is bent, totally fine. Your left hand can be alongside your hips, bracing into your fingertips or hand, keeping your chest open. If your chest is starting to collapse, bend your knee so you can keep your chest nice and open and lifted. Take your left fingertips, walk them behind you. Start to twist, gazing over that left shoulder towards those left fingertips. Breath in, breath out. Set your left foot down on the ground right in front of you, keeping your right foot where it is. Take your right hand, wrap it around the front of your shin. Your left hand comes behind your back. Maybe your fingertips meet. into Mary Chayasana. Start to draw your nose down to your knee. Inhale, start to roll up. Your left hand plants behind you, your fingertips facing away from you. Press into your right foot, lifting up. Plant the pinky edge of your left foot on the side of your mat. So we're in a little variation of side plank. Start to lift your right leg. Hold here in side plank. You can stack that right foot on top of your left for more support, or even step that right foot in front of your knee if you need some more support. Breath in. Now pick up that right knee, grab the back of that right knee, and step your right foot outside of your left hand. So now you're in this low lunge at the back of your mat. Breath in and breath out. One more breath in. Breath out, straighten your right leg, moving into a variation of pyramid. So you're on the ball of your back foot. You straighten that right leg. Start to press into the ball of that back foot. Lower your knee, lower your nose towards your knee to the degree that you can. Breath in and breath out. Rebend that right knee. Walk your hands over to the left. Rotate all 10 toes so they're pointing the same direction and into a wide-legged forward fold. Fold over these legs. Send your left hand right out directly in front of you and snake your right arm under towards your right ankle or calf or just that direction. So you're twisting towards the front of your mat. But we're adding to that twist by planting our left fingertips just over our head. Breath in and breath out. One more breath in. Breath out, release that twist. Plant your hands right underneath your shoulders. Straighten your arms up and shift the weight into your hands. So your shoulders might shift over your fingertips. With that weight shifted over your fingertips, come onto your tiptoes, turn your heels in. So now your toes are pointing out. Bend your knees so you're squatting over those toes. Lift your chest up, coming into goddess. You can sway back and forth a little bit here. We're in this one for a few extra breaths. Breath in, breath out. Keeping the bend in your knees. Straighten the back leg. Rotate the front toes towards the front of the room. So you've kept that bend in your front knee. Now you're right into warrior two. Squeeze your right glute. Breath in, breath out. One more breath in, one more breath out. Straighten your front leg. Reach your left arm forward until it can't go forward any further, and then your left hand can drop inside your ankle or calf or shin, gazing up at your right hand, moving into triangle. Start to rotate your pinky finger, your right pinky finger, towards the front of the room. And then drop that arm over. So now your pinky finger might even be facing down towards the ground. Bicep over that ear, breath in. Breath out, right hand plants, left knee bends back to this low lunge. Step your left foot back to meet the right, high plank. Lower down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now we'll do it on the other side. Nice and slow, just like that one, before we pick up the pace and add in some little options here and there. Breath in, breath out. One more time, breath in and breath out. Drop your knees so they're floating. You're in this floating tabletop. Moving to the left side first. Rotate your heels to the right. Left arm picks up, right leg kicks out. And come back to floating tabletop. Right arm picks up, left leg kicks out, floating tabletop. Other side, left arm picks up, floating tabletop. Right arm picks up, floating tabletop. Big breath in and breath out. Your left foot steps to the pinky edge of your left hand. Straighten out that right leg, rotate over that left leg, coming into Skandasana. Again, keeping that chest nice and lifted. You need to plant your fingertips on the ground to make that happen. Go for it. Last breath in, breath out. Walk your fingertips over that front leg. Right ball of the foot drops to the ground into this low lunge. Breath in. Breathe out, bend your right knee, spring into that left foot, coming into standing splits. Right leg is up, standing on your left leg. Breath in, breath out, right knee comes to your nose, left hand grab the pinky edge of your right foot as it swings through, lower down to your bum. Your right leg up at the 45. Draw your right fingertips behind you, twisting gaze over your right shoulder. Breath in, breath out. Lower your right leg down to the ground. Left bicep wraps in front of your left shin. Maybe your fingertips grab behind you. Inhale as you roll up. Your right hand plants behind you, your fingertips facing out. Press your hips high. Plant the pinky edge of your right foot, coming into a variation of side plank. Whatever variation you need. Breath in, breath out. Inhale as you lift your left leg, grabbing onto the back of the knee, rotating over, left foot steps out next to the right hand. You're back into this low lunge, this time at the back of your mat. Breathe in. As you breathe out, straighten your front leg, folding to a variation of pyramid. We'll work into a full version of pyramid later in class today. But for now, this stance has a wide leg and you're up on the ball of your back foot. Breath in. Breath out, bend your left leg, walk your hands over to the right, all 10 toes pointing directly to that side of the room, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Stack your right fingertips right in front of your head, reach your left hand under towards the front of the room. Maybe you can reach to that ankle or those toes. One more breath in. Release as you exhale. Plant your hands right underneath your shoulders. Straighten your arms. Shift your weight into those fingertips. Pick up your heels, turn them in. Toes are pointed out. Squat your legs over those pointed toes. Lift up your body, coming into goddess. Again, we can shift back and forth a little bit. Breath in and breath out. Keeping the bend in your right knee, start to straighten your back leg, straighten out those front toes towards the front of the room. Warrior two, the front of your mat on your right leg. Breathe in, and breathe out. Straighten your front leg. Reach your right fingertips as far forward as they can go, tilting your hip back. Drop your right hand inside of your ankle. Left arm reaches up into triangle. Rotate your left pinky towards the front of the room. And then drop your bicep over your left ear. So now your pinky finger is pointing down at the floor. Breath in and breath out. Rebend your right knee, plant both hands back into low lunge. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Breath in, breath out, lower down. Move all the way through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Look at your hand and bend your knees, walk, step, float, hop, handstand all the way up to your hands. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, roll up, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart. Take one breath in and a breath out. We're gonna do that twice more through, changing things up a little bit. Not so much changing things up, just adding options along the way. So let's start here in Tadasana. Palms pointed forward, thumbs pointed out. Lift your kneecaps, engaging your quads. And inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, plant your hands, step back, move through your vinyasa, come all the way to downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out, knees drop, floating tabletop. Right hand lifts up, kick your left leg out. Right hand plants. Left arm comes up, right leg kicks out, and plant. Once more on each side. Right arm up, kick your left leg out, floating tabletop. Left arm up, kick your right leg out, floating tabletop. Deep breath in, breath out, pick up that right leg, step it to the right pinky. Rotate open, finding Skandasana. Now we'll pause here. You can stay just like this, hands at prayer, or you can reach your fingertips nice and wide and really brace into those fingertips. So your chest is still nice and flat. It's just facing the ground this time. Breath in and breath out. Walk your hands over that right leg, finding that low lunge. Breath in, breath out, spring into that right leg, finding standing splits. We'll pause here just for a few breaths to play with your balance. If you want to grab onto that right ankle with one hand or both hands, you choose. Breath in, breath out. Start to bring your left knee to your nose. Right hand grabs the pinky edge of your left foot. Lower all the way to seated. Leg nice and straight, lifting up. Left hand plants behind. Twist keys over that left shoulder. Breath in, breath out. Lower your left leg down. Right bicep in front of right shin. Breath in. And breath out. Lower your knee to your nose. And breath in. And breath out. Release that, roll up, left hand plants behind you. Press your hips high, pinky edge of left foot, moving into side plank. Breath in, breath out. Lift up your right knee, grab the back of that right knee, rotate right foot steps next to left hand. You're in this version of low lunge. Breathe in, breathe out, straighten your front leg, press into the ball of your back foot. One more breath in. Breath out, rebend that right knee. Walk your hands to the left into a wide-legged forward fold. Breath in, lift. Breath out, release, forward fold. The left hand reaches in front of you. Right arm towards your front ankle or shin. Breath in. Breath out, release. Plant your hands. Straighten your arms. Shift your weight into your fingertips. Rotate your heels in. Bend your knees deep. Lift your chest, coming into goddess. Breath in, breath out. Keep the bend in your left knee. Straighten out your right leg. Straighten out those front toes. Warrior two. Breath in, Breath out. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Left fingertips reach forward, coming into triangle. One breath in. Rotate the pinky as you exhale. Let that arm come down over your bicep. Bicep over your ear. Breath in. Breath out. Rebend your left knee. Both hands plant. Breathe in this low lunge. Breathe out. Step back to your high plank. Lower down. Move through the rest of your vinyasa, coming to downward facing dog. And we'll do the left side. Breath in. Breathe out. Knees come to floating tabletop. Moving to the left side first. Left arm up, right leg kicks out. Back to floating tabletop. Right arm up, left leg kicks out. Back to floating tabletop. Other side, left arm up. Floating tabletop. Right arm up. Floating tabletop. Breath in. Breath out. Left foot outside of left pinky. Rotate over that left leg, coming into Skandasana. Again, option to try those fingertips planting, pressing into those fingertips. Breath in. Breathe out as you rotate over that front leg into that low lunge. One more breath in. Breath out, spring into that left leg. Option here to play with your balance. Grabbing your ankle. One more breath in. Breath out, your knee comes to your nose. Left hand grabs outside of right foot. Come all the way to seated. Keeping your right leg lifted, right fingertips plant behind you, twist. Exhale, lower that right leg down. Wrap around your left leg, maybe your fingertips meet, drawing your knee down to your nose. Inhale, roll up. Right hand plants behind you. Press into that left foot. Plant the pinky edge of your right foot, moving into side plank. Breath in and out. Lift your left leg. Grab the back of the knee. Rotate left foot steps next to right hand. Into this low lunge. Breathe in. Breathe out. Straighten your front leg. Press into the ball of your back foot. One more breath in. Breath out. Bend your left leg. Walk your hands to the right. Into this wide-legged forward fold. Inhale. And exhale. Right arm reaches out in front of you. Brace with those fingertips. Left arm towards the front of the room, twisting. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hands plant underneath your shoulders. Straighten your arms. Shift your weight towards your fingertips. Rotate your heels in. Squat, bend your knees. Lift your chest, coming into goddess. Breathe in. Breathe out. Straighten your back left leg. Rotate your right toes straight forward. Warrior two. Breathe in. And breathe out. Straighten your front leg. Reach your right fingertips forward. Right hand plants down. Left arm reaches up. Rotate your fingertip. And drop the left bicep over your left ear. Breathe in. And breathe out. Plant both hands. Bend your right knee. Step back to high plank. Breath in. Breath out. Lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. We'll pause here for just 3 breaths. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, walk, step, float all the way up to meet your hands. Breathe into a halfway lift. Exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands come down to heart center. We'll do that one last time through. Again, we'll start with hands down alongside our body, thumbs out, pinkies in. Lift your kneecaps, engage your quads. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out. Plant your hands. Either step back to downward facing dog or move through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Floating tabletop. Knees drop down. Right hand picks up. Left leg kicks out. Floating tabletop. Left hand picks up. Right leg kicks out. Floating tabletop. Right arm up. Floating tabletop. Left arm up. Floating tabletop. Breathe in. Breathe out. Step your right foot outside of your right pinky. Rotate over, opening up your right leg, Skandasana. This time, if you want to try the full bind, you wrap that right bicep in front of your right shin, just like Mary Chayasana, reaching for that bind. Breath in. Release that bind if you've got it. Breathe out as you rotate over that front leg into this low lunge. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, press into your right leg, standing splits. Again, the option here to play with your balance. Even if you still leave one little fingertip on the ground. Exhale as you draw your knee to your nose. Right hand grabs pinky side of foot. Swings through, come to seated. Left leg is lifted, left fingertips plant, twist. Drop your left foot to the ground. Swing your right arm around into Mary Chayasana. One more breath in. One more breath out. Release whatever bind you have. Inhale, roll up. Plant your left fingertips behind you. Press into the pinky edge of your left foot. Come into side plank. Now here you can lift up your knee and grab the back of your knee like we've done. Or you can lift up your foot, grab your toes, rotate around. Either way, plant your right hand next to your right foot next to your left hand. Inhale here in this low lunge. As you exhale, straighten your front leg. Really press into those back toes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rebend your right leg. Rotate around. All 10 toes pointing over to the right. Left fingertips plant in front of you. Right fingertips reach towards the front of the room, twisting. Take a big breath in. A big breath out as you release that. Plant your hands on the ground, straighten your arms, press your weight into your hands, pick up your heels, rotate them in, squat over those toes. Coming into goddess, breath in, breath out, straighten your back leg, straighten out your front foot, breath in, and breath out. Straighten your front leg, reach your left fingertips forward. Come into triangle, big breath in. Rotate your fingers towards the front of the room. Right bicep over your ear, breath in. Breath out, rebend your left leg, plant both hands. Step back, high plank. Press to down dog or move through your vinyasa, you choose. One last side to go. This will be our last time through, last side. Start with a big inhale. Exhale, floating tabletop. Left arm up, right leg kicks out. Floating tabletop. Right arm up. Floating tabletop. Left arm up. Floating tabletop. One more. Right arm up. Floating tabletop. Left foot steps outside left pinky. Rotate over into Skandasana. Find that bind if that appeals to you. Breath in, breath out, release those hands, rotate over that front leg, breath in, and breath out, standing splits. Breath in, breath out, right knee comes to your nose. Grab the pinky edge of your right foot, come all the way to seated. Kicking that right leg forward, right fingertips plant behind you, twist. Exhale, send that right heel to the ground. Wrap your arms around your shin. Breath in, breath out. Inhale as you roll up. Plant your right hand behind you, pinky edge of right foot, coming into side plank. Again, here you can pick up that left knee or grab onto those left toes, rotate around, plant your left foot next to your right hand. Inhale in the low lunge. Exhale, straighten your front leg, press into your back toes. Breath in, breath out, rebend your left leg. Walk your hands over to the right, all 10 toes pointing over to the right. Right hand reaches, brace your fingertips. Left hand reaches towards your ankle. Big inhale. Exhale, release that twist. Plant your hands, straighten your arms, shift your weight into those fingertips, rotate your heels in, send your knees over your toes. Come up to goddess. Breath in, breath out, straighten out your left leg. Point your right toes to the front of the room. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Tilt forward, forward, forward. Drop your right hand. Left arm goes up. Rotate your fingertips, your pinky finger toward the front of the room. Bicep to ear. Rebend your right leg. Plant both hands. Step back to high plank. Flush it out. Move through your vinyasa. Or press back to downward facing dog. One last moment of effort of push before we rest. Press forward to a high plank. Drop your left arm to the mat. Drop your right forearm to the mat. We're going to stay in a plank for a minute. This is one of my favorite challenges. If you need to drop to your knees, if you need to take a break, then do that. I will read our thought for today to distract you. You can be positive, happy, and grateful and still have a not so good, awful, or off day. Yes to thinking good thoughts, but also yes to acknowledging and feeling your feelings. You don't have to pretend, and you don't have to be perfect. You have about 20 seconds left. This is the opportunity to focus on your breath. Keep your inhales slow and even. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees. Come to a restful position, whether that's child's pose or flat on your belly. You choose your moment of rest, whatever it is that you need right now. A few more breaths here to rest. Start to wake up your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you're ready, slowly, there is no rush. Make your way to a tabletop position. Maybe move through cat-cow. And tuck your toes. Come to downward facing dog. Breath in. As you exhale, walk your hands back to your feet, just like we did at the start of class. Find that ragdoll forward fold, grab opposite elbows, sway back and forth. Release your hands to your mat. Roll up slowly, one at a time, one vertebrae at a time. And then come to standing at the top of your mat, and we'll move through our balancing series. So we've done a lot of forearm or hamstring stuff today. To prepare us for our final pose in our balancing series will be pyramid. And we'll play with a couple arm variations if pyramid is something you do all the time, every day. But for starters here today, shift your weight into your right foot. Find a nice forward fold. Here's the tricky part. Are we ready? Shift your weight into your right foot. Cross your wrists, okay? So cross your wrists. Your palms are facing each other, but your wrists are crossed. Reach down, grab the bottom of your left foot, okay? Got it? So with your wrists crossed, you're gonna grab around your left foot. Weight shifted into your right foot. Come to standing, bringing that left leg with you, knee to chest. Now extend that leg out. It's okay if your knee stays bent a little bit, it doesn't have to go all the way out, but your wrists are crossed. This is a little bit of a different variation than we usually do. Keep hold with your right hand. Release with your left hand. Send your left arm back behind you, twisting open, pressing through your standing leg, pressing through your heel, your lifted heel, toward the front of the room. Breath in, breath out. This has proven to be the hard part for me. Bring your left hand back. Can you find that cross grasp? Again, breath in, breath out. Start to re-bend that left knee. Release, hands come to heart center. Shift forward, kick your left leg back behind you. Moving into warrior three. Flex your back foot like you're stamping the wall behind you. Press through all four corners of your standing leg. Take a big breath in. Breath out. Bend your standing leg like you're an elevator, lowering your whole body to the ground. When you can't lower any further, step your left toes behind you, land on the ball of your left foot. Inhale up to high crescent. Send your biceps back over your ears. Draw back on your right hip crease. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's start with our hands at hip distance. Step your left foot in so that your feet are only about 3 footprints apart. For pyramid, our stance is shorter. It's not as long as a warrior or a crescent stance. All 10 toes are pointing straight ahead, and both feet are flat on the ground. Now, if you're on a tightrope here, this will be harder to balance because you're on a tightrope. So try and give yourself a little bit of space so your feet are underneath what would be hip distance, except but they're about hip distance apart in width. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, fold over these legs. You can keep your hands at your waist. If you have blocks, you can draw your hands down to blocks. Blocks are a great option. Otherwise, fingertips can come to the ground. And you want your hips here to be nice and flat and square. For most of us, that means shifting a little more weight into your front leg so that your back hip drops a little bit and your hips stay nice and flat. You can stay here just like this, or to play with some arm variations, you can fold over that front leg and bring your pinky fingers to the ground, biceps over ears, like you're coming into prayer pose. Another option is to have fists together at your back, or reverse prayer, or just walk your fingertips towards the front of your mat. If you feel like your front knee is going to pop out the back of your leg because it's hyperextended, don't hesitate to put a tiniest bend in your front leg. This is another pose where you breathe into it, and as you breathe out, you let your head release just a little further. And breath in, and breath out. And one more, breath in, And breath out. Start to lift up your chest a little bit. Send some weight into your hands and step your left foot forward to meet your right. Shake it out. At this point, my two legs feel very different from one another. So we'll go ahead and do the other side. Okay, again, we're gonna cross at the wrists, like we're gonna clap our hands, palms are together. Fold over, shift your weight into your left foot. Come up onto the toes on your right foot. Grab the bottom of your right foot with these clasped hands. Shift into your left foot, slowly come up to standing. Bring that leg with you, keeping it bent at first. Then start to extend it towards the front of the room. When you're ready, release with your right hand, twisting open. One more breath in, and see if you can bring that right hand back to that cross grasp and bend your right knee into your chest. Release with your hands, hands come to prayer. Kick your right leg back, warrior three. Breath in, slowly bend your left knee like you're lowering an elevator. Lower, 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 lower. When you can't go any lower, drop your right toes. Lift your chest up, high crescent. One more breath in. As you breathe out, draw your hands to your hips. Step your right foot in a little bit. All 10 toes pointing forward. Shift your weight into your front foot ever so slightly. Take a big breath in, grow taller. And exhale, bend over that front leg. Start with your chest nice and flat. Decide where you want to go with your hands. And then release into that fold over that front leg. Maybe shift a little more weight into your front leg to even out your hips. Maybe try that prayer variation where your pinkies come together, biceps over ears. Breath in, breath out. Send your fingertips back to the ground. Start to shift a little weight into those fingertips. Right foot steps forward to meet the left. Shake it out, shimmy it out, roll up to standing gently. Give yourself a quick shake and roll all the way down to your back. Just a little bit more work. We're gonna do a variation of locust today for our back bends. So flip over onto your belly, facing front of your mat, back of your mat, doesn't matter. Flip over onto your belly. Now for locust, in the full expression of the pose, your chest is lifted, your toes are lifted, and everything's lifted all at once. If you prefer to start a little bit slower, start with hands planted underneath your shoulders, forehead down. Take a breath in to prepare, and a breath out, and then lift your legs and forehead off the ground. You can start with your toes wide, they don't have to be together, and breathe in and breathe out. Lift your toes a little further, breathe in, breathe out. One more big lift, and lower all the way back down. Send your feet to the sky, windshield wiper your legs from side to side a little bit here. One more option, plant your arms in front of you, kind of in these number 11 arms, real close together. You can have them stacked on top of one another if that feels better. And send your forehead down to those forearms. Same thing here. Take a breath in to prepare and a breath out. And inhale, lift those legs, press into those forearms. This is harder. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift and breathe out. One more time, inhale, lift and lower all the way down. Send your feet to the sky. Swing them side to side, release that a little bit. Last variation we'll do tonight, send your forehead to the ground. You can have your arms alongside your body, or if you're familiar with locust and you want to do the whole thing, arms up overhead. You choose where you want to go. Take a big breath in and a breath out. And inhale, lift. And exhale. Breath in and out. One last big lift, breath in, and lower all the way down. Again, send those feet high. Sway them from side to side. Flip yourself right back over. Come onto your back. Last quick thing I want to do today is go into plow, because plow requires a great deal of hamstring length, which we've worked on so much today. So get your forearms planted on the ground right alongside your body, like as close to your body as you can get that. Nice strong press all the way along the backs of those forearms into your elbows. Draw your knees into your chest. Lift your hips up and over your shoulders and use those hands to press into the backs of your hips. Lift your toes up and over your hips. So we start plow in shoulder stand. From shoulder stand, take a breath in, and as you exhale, drop your toes over your head and see if your toes can reach the ground. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. That's okay. You can actually widen your toes a little bit. That gives you a little more space. Press into your hips with your hands. You can alternate sending one leg up at a time if that feels good. Pressing into your hips, keeping them lifting up towards your shoulders. Breath in here. As you breathe out, bend your knees so they're alongside your ears. I've heard this called the deaf man's pose because your knees are planted over your ears. Release your hands, roll gently, gently, gently onto your back, bringing your legs with you. Let your legs come all the way down. Take a big breath in and a breath out. Draw your right knee into your chest, just your right knee. And let your right knee fall across to the left side of your body. Now, oftentimes we'll do this and we'll just leave our knee hovering so that our right shoulder stays planted on the ground. Today, we're gonna do this differently. I want you to go take your right knee all the way to the ground, even if that means, like you can see my right shoulder lifts up. So my right shoulder lifts up so that my right knee can access the ground. So in this case, I'm gonna take my right arm up to a V. Instead of leaving it kind of hovering, not good for my shoulder. Bring your right arm up so that your back of your right hand can rest on the ground. We're just accessing a different area of twist here, different sensation for the shoulder. Last inhale. On an exhale, start to draw your right arm back into your chest. Draw your right knee back to center and switch legs. Left knee comes into your chest. And draw your left knee all the way across to the right side of your body. Let your knee come all the way to the ground this time. And that leaves my left arm sort of floating out here in space because my left shoulder is now off the ground. So I'm going to extend it higher up. On my left side, it doesn't even feel like a V. I feel like my left arm is just right overhead. My bicep is pretty close to my ear so that my shoulder feels supported. Last inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Draw your left arm to your chest. Draw your left knee to your chest. Last posture of the day, happy baby. Start by sending your soles of your feet to the sky. Grab the outsides of your feet or your toes or the backs of your knees. Draw your knees down alongside your body, alongside your rib cage. You can stay here just like this or play with the idea of extending one leg and the other, or both at the same time. One more big inhale. Exhale, your knees come to your chest. Imagine all of the negative energy and everything that's bothering you and all the annoying things going on in your life flowing out of your body into the earth, away from you, leaving your body. One more breath in and breath out. Send your legs out, moving into Shavasana. Let your legs fall wide, toes fall away from one another, arms alongside your body. And you take these few minutes in Shavasana to let your mind and body rest. And I'll call you back to finish class. Gently start to wake up your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll out your wrists. And roll over onto your side in the fetal position, feeling supported by the ground beneath you. You can be positive, happy, and grateful and still have not so good, awful, or off days. Yes to thinking good thoughts, but also yes to acknowledging and feeling your feelings. You don't have to pretend, and you don't have to be perfect. Press yourself up to seated, finding whatever comfortable seat feels good for you. Keep your eyes closed or maybe just ever so slightly open. Draw your hands to heart center. Thank you for being here tonight. The light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in you. Namaste.